Welcome back to episode 7 of the Weighing Room, brought to you by the Winners Enclosure. You are joined with myself, Hannah Baycroft, and Frankie, and we're going to take you through this weekend's card. Well, bits and pieces of this weekend's card. We've got action Friday, which I do believe we'll be watching today, this morning. We've got some more action on Saturday and Sunday. So we're going to be taking a look at Sandown, Aintree, and Punchestown on Sunday, which will be great. Now, last week, had some winners, we did. So the Winners Enclosure had 2 winners, and so did I. And Frankie, you had one.
A miserable one.
But look, I'm kind of happy now because I'm slightly catching up. The week before that, the Winners Enclosure had 4, I had 3, you had 2. We'll have to see how we're doing overall, actually, so we can do that next week. But, you know, we had some big names come up last week. One I am going to say, and, you know, I don't mean to start on a downer, but we all thought Soaring Glory was going to bring it home for us, and it didn't happen. But look, we saw the likes of Honeysuckle. I mean, what more can you say about that horse? Absolutely brilliant. Epatante in the dead heat. I was disappointed by Mr. Kofi. Thomas Darby, 7-1 winner in the long distance hurdle. There was plenty going on. I thought I might have a few more winners than I did, but there we go.
Didn't we all?
Again this week.
Yeah. Didn't we all? I think this week's a step up. Last week we said there's some big names, there's some likely winners, and this week we've got a card full of them. Names like Chacal Poussoir, third time lucky Envoy Allen at Punchestown. We got some big names, and hopefully, as always, the horses that we like to see win can win. So yeah, we'll get stuck in. I think we won't mither on last week's sorrows, and we'll move into this week's.
Yeah, you know I love to wallow in pity about previous weeks. Anyway, yes, so we'll go for our first race that we're looking at, Sandown. So, which is Friday, which I do believe will be today when you are watching this, the 2 Ballimore Winter Novice Hurdle. Now, the Winners Enclosure are picking Brave Kingdom, which I will agree with. So this is my pick for this one. An impressive winner on his Chepstow hurdle debut, first run since moving yards to Paul Nicholls. He was the 5-4 favourite on soft ground. Now this is a 16-runner field. It was when I looked, I'm sure it still is. But this was, 5-4 favourite back on the 3rd of November. Now it is scheduled to have, we're scheduled to have a little bit of rain, and I don't think that will hurt. I think the soft ground will be absolutely fine. At the moment, I think it's good to soft. Gavin Sheehan takes the ride again, and I do think this horse is the one to beat. So this is my pick. I'm going in strong with Paul Nicholls' horse, Brave Kingdom, and that is the same as the Winners Enclosure. What about you, Frankie?
I'm going to go against you both with a big price. Harper's Brook for Ben Pauling. You know, you only know so much about these novice races, and you know the top couple in the market. Brave Kingdom's gone and won by 10 lengths. The second favourite by 41 lengths. I think the third favourite's done something similar in a Class 3. Yeah, another 10 lengths. So you know these horses, they're all coming out of weaker races into what is quite a strong novice hurdle. But I'm going for Harper's Brook. After going up and seeing this horse in training, they were pretty keen on it up at Pauling's yard. It looks an absolute machine in training. So, you know, in a race where we don't know a whole lot, I'm going to go with one I've actually seen and know that they're quite fancy. So, you know, good luck to Ben Pauling and the team, and hopefully Harper's Brook goes well.
It always makes a huge difference as well when you've seen them in the flesh, I think, as well. Yeah. I'm going now on the 13th of December, which I'm very much looking forward to. So hopefully I can see some stars there. But moving on now to the 35 past 3, the Pertemps handicap hurdle. Now the Winners Enclosure are going for Pylon. I could be saying that wrong. Pylon. I'm sure that is Pylon. I am going against, and I'm going with Storm Arising. So another Paul Nicholls horse that I'm going with, Harry Cobden takes the ride. Went well fresh on its seasonal debut last year. Now, I always think that's an important thing. Only winning by half a length under Bryony. Last time out was the 18th of March. Had a disappointing run at Cheltenham. He's weakened towards the end. Now, like I said, Harry's on board again. He last won on this horse quite a while ago on the 17th of March 2019 at Wincanton in the maiden hurdle. This horse wears cheek pieces for the first time this time. Now, I do think Pylon's going to be the biggest threat. Pylon carries 10 stone 8. Storm Rising carries a lot more. But the top weight for this race is William Henry. So I think it's going to be quite close. At first, I did want to side with Pylon, but then the more notes I took, the more I was actually siding with Storm Rising. So I am going to go against the Winners Enclosure for this one.
I'm going to stick with them. It's a tricky race, that's for sure. I think going off of 10 stone 8 in this handicap, you've got to give, again, I don't know whether it's Pylon, Pillion, or how to pronounce it, but I think you've got to give that horse a good chance in this. You know, it seemed to like it last time out over slightly further at Aintree, and went pretty well in, you know, a class 2 handicap there, and going off, what's this, 2 miles 7, another class 2 off 10 stone 8. I think having that run over further last time out should do it a favour of going again off a similar distance. So, but a very hard race to find a winner, but it is Pylon for me as well.
So then we move on to Aintree on Saturday in the 20-past-12 mares chase. The Winners Enclosure are going for LMA, yeah. LMA, there we go. LMA, the Willie Mullins horse, the JP McManus horse. I am not siding with the Winners Enclosure, and I do believe you're going for the same one.
I am, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going against
big fan of this mare.
I'm going to go side with Annie Mac. Now, it's only, you know, it's a small field in this race. I do think Annie Mac is the better horse. Last season, its first 2 runs out of the 4 weren't great, but on its second run into that season, cheap pieces were put on it, and I think it just sharpened the horse up a lot, came 5th, and then the next 2 times we saw the horse, both won. So I think it's helped it a lot. It doesn't perform its best fresh, but I just think I just prefer this horse. And since it's not a massive field, I mean, there's not much to pick from. But yeah, I'm just agreeing with you both, and I'm going with Annie Mac.
Annie Mac, Chris Hughes would be happy if that won, that's for sure. I'm going to side with the Winners Enclosure. We would have seen these two go head-to-head, Ellie Mae and Annie Mac at Cheltenham in the mares. Unfortunately, Annie Mac was a non-runner that week. Ellie Mae went off, I think, 6-5, maybe odds on. I think even money or odds on at one point. Unfortunately, came second. I was all over it at Cheltenham, and since then has won in April pretty comfortably. Goes well for us the last 2 seasons. She's come out and won once in December in 2019, and then back out in November, a close second. So I think she's got to be the one to beat.
Okay, so then we move on to the 5-past-2 at Aintree, the Many Clouds Chase. So my pick for this one, well, actually, no, I'll start with the Winners Enclosure. So the Winners Enclosure are going for the Kim Bailey trained Imperial Aura. I am disagreeing, and I am going with, actually, firstly, I wrote a whole load of notes on Album Photo, but we'll get onto that later because he was entered in both, but we'll save that for later. I'm going with the Dan Skelton trained Protectorate. Now, I had a bit of a for and against argument, so I will. That's fine for me. I've put the notes for this. So Bridget Andrews takes the ride. 7-year-old horse, already had a run this season, which I think is going to, you know, it's got that run under its belt already. Since its chasing debut, has won 3 of its 6 starts, and then second in the rest. So, you know, all the form looks great there. Second at Cheltenham by 3/4 of a length. Yeah, I like this horse a lot. Now, I also wrote, what else did I write? I'd like to, yeah, I mean, if he doesn't win, I think he's definitely going to go close because I think he's a brilliant horse. I mean, I'm a huge, like I say, every single week, I'm a huge fan of Dan Skelton's horses. Yeah, and it's also going to be nice to see the return of Tiger Roll as well. But yeah, that is my pick for this one. So I am going against the Winners Enclosure. What about you, Frankie?
I don't know whether this is a pick out of wanting it to win or thinking it will win, but I'm going to go with Native River. I do like the favourite. I do like Protector at your selection. I think it's crying out for further, that horse, but it's just a bit quirky for my liking. Like, it just seems a bit of a giddy horse. It doesn't quite jump or travel that straightforward, in my opinion. And I think if Native River gets into a a good gallop and has a sound round of jumping over further, it could just outstay the favourite. But as I said, it's maybe my heart's pulling at me a little bit to have Native River. But that is going to be my selection. John Joe on board, who's a brilliant jockey. So yeah, Native River for me in that.
What were you saying last week about horses and not letting go of them, and the new ones coming in?
Both got beat. Well,
I remember you saying that.
We had Goshen, which I got beat, and then Deafy DeSoy as well, which I said I couldn't knock back, and that got beat. So maybe I learned my lesson third time.
Yeah, that was a strong statement, and where you went against it. Anyway, so the 240, we go into the handicap chase, the Winners Enclosure. Are going for Kimber Like Candy, and check it out. Now for this race, I am going for Snow Leopardess, the 9-year-old. She jumps really, really well. She's a really nice looking horse as well. Last time out, she barely even touched the fence as she started. She's carrying very little weight as well, 10 stone 4 compared to the others. Last time out, we saw her on the 10th of November, winning by 2 3/4 lengths. Like I said, it was a really nice horse to watch jump as well. She's got good form. She didn't have a bad season last year, really. The end of the season, she came 6th at Aintree, but it was towards the end of the season, so you could just say, tired out. But I really like this horse. I do think Chris's Dream is going to be a threat. But yeah, for this one, I'm going for Snow Leopardess.
Chris's Dream is my selection, so I hope it's a threat. That is going to be mine. John Joe again. Let's hope he has a good day. John Joe double. That's what I'm backing. Yeah, I think in these big handicap shots, I'm always looking for either one that seems to have snuck in off a decent weight, or a graded horse that's now in a handicap that's, going to go off top weight most likely if it's a graded horse in a smaller handicap, which this is top weight Chris's Dream. But it's run in graded company, it's run in grade ones, and it's carrying 11-12. And something I sometimes look at is it's coming into a handicap running off 11-12, but it's carried 11-12 in graded races. So it's not like the horse is now having a bucket more weight on it than it's used to. It is top weight in comparison to the other runners, but it's gone round, as I said, better fields with the horse carrying the same weight. So I think Chris's Dream could handle it, and hopefully can go well at around 10-1.
So now we move on to Sandown. So it's over to you now, Frankie, for Sandown on Saturday.
We do, and we've got three races at Sandown, and the first two, I think, it doesn't happen often, but we might all be in agreement for a couple of them.
Don't say that, because last week when we all agreed, it didn't work out well.
So the first, we are going to 150, the close brother Novices Chase, and we, I think, are all looking towards the favourite Third Time Lucky. Am I right?
Yeah.
There we are, 3 for Third Time Lucky. Me, you, and the Winners Enclosure. I've got to say, I was torn between Third Time Lucky and Edwardstone. Edwardstone beat Third Time Lucky at Cheltenham off of £5 heavier. And has done nothing wrong chasing, and they've both ran, Third Time's Lucky has ran in some class 1s, I think, whereas Edwardstone went out in a class 3, but they've both done a decent round of jumping. I just think Third Time Lucky looks to be the better chaser off what we've seen so far. You'd probably have Edwardstone down as a better hurdler, but when they're no longer hurdling, so got to disregard some of that hurdle form and look towards their chasing career. And Third Time Lucky looked brilliant chaser both times at Cheltenham. So I'm going with the favourite, as are you.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an absolutely great horse. But like I've said for the 7th time today, love the Dan Skelton team. I love this horse, but I don't think it ran as best as it could last time. I just think that it was held up, and I don't know, maybe when you watch back, maybe, look, you've got a professional jockey on top, you held up for a reason, you're champion jockey there. But I just think what could happen, if it's let go, is it going to go too far? Maybe it's going to run out of steam. I just thought there was so much steam used up whilst going over the fences that it tired towards the end. And it's a great horse to watch jump. I mean, look, I put in brackets, pings over fences like grasshopper, because it does. It's knees up, it jumps beautifully. It's a really impressive horse. I just think that I want to move as if I'm riding the horse. I mean, I just think that there's so much to go with the horse that I just think what could go wrong by just letting it go a bit more.
Well, it might go better in a faster race. You know, it's obviously running in better company now. It was strong favourite and a better horse than the two races it's running. So now up against some tougher company, it might go even better. We don't know.
And have to push a bit more. I mean, yeah, because the earlier it kind of exhausted a bit. But no, I really like Third Time Lucky. I don't think you could go wrong. I mean, there's nothing really too bad to say about the horse because it is so impressive. I mean, that, you know, for the first time this season, when we saw it, just absolutely brilliant. So yeah, I'm not going to say any more because you can't really say much bad about Third Time Lucky. I'm really looking forward to seeing him run again. So yeah, lovely strides as well. Like it doesn't really put a foot wrong. It just pings, not flies, pings.
Sure does. Be a good one to watch that. Next up, more experienced chasers. So passing the novices onto the Tingle Creek. And this is where we've got Chacun Pour Soi, Nube Negra, Hitman, Captain Guinness. And am I right in saying we're all going to be siding with the favourite Chacun Pour Soi again? Or are you going against?
No, I'm with you all.
We are. So we're looking for the two favourites in both of these chases at Sandown. It's Chacun Pour Soi's race to lose, really, isn't it? I know that everyone, including myself, was disappointed not to see it win the champion chase. But outside of that, and that was the worry that it wasn't going to go well at Cheltenham anyway. If you look outside of that one single race, which we all tend to hone in on, the champion chase, it is a brilliant chaser and it has to be the one to beat. Nube Negra, obviously, winning at Cheltenham recently, looked very impressive. But I just think Chacun Pour Soi is too classy. I think it really is the best horse in the race.
Yeah, have to agree. Definitely. The Chacun Pour Soi v Nube Negra, that is just the race, isn't it? But yeah, no, it'll be really great. And the first one of the season, he goes well fresh. He's a brilliant jumper.
The last one we're going to look at Sandown is the 3:35 Betfair Daily Rewards December handicap hurdle. The Winners Enclosure selection is Metier, and the same goes for myself. And a similar reason to my selection in the handicap at Aintree. You're looking at a graded horse in handicap company again. And as I said before, I'm trying to pick out a sneaky one that's got in on the weights and, could go well off a lightweight. Again, I'm just checking. I'm pretty certain. Oh, it's not quite top weight. You've got Navajo Pass, Brian Hughes on board top weight. But besides that, Karen 11-7. You've got a grade one horse in handicap company, and I think it will handle the weight. So I am, once again, going to side with that. Sammy Twiston's riding, or having some great rides at the moment as well. He's on board. That's another tick in the box in my book. So for myself and the Winners Enclosure, we are going Metier. What about yourself?
I am going for Hudson de Grudgy. Let's just say Grudgy. Already got a win this season on the 7th of November. Now, last season on the 27th, after Newbury, it came third. But I definitely did think there was more to come with this horse. And lo and behold, there was. So yeah, the last time we saw him was at Sandown. I think he's a highly progressive horse and he'll just keep getting better. So yeah, that's my pick for this one. It's won 3 of its 5 starts over hurdles anyway. Yeah, and I just think that win already is going to help. Just looking, it doesn't always necessarily, well, I say it doesn't go well fresh. It doesn't win fresh, but, proving the last run it did. But, back in 2020, gosh, that seems like so long ago, 2020, came second. So it's not like it's terrible, but there's hope. And I just think it's a brilliant horse. And yeah, I think there's more to come. So that's my pick for this one.
It's the favourite. For the Moors. The last race, we are going to Sunday. And this is an exciting one for sure. I'm just going to move myself across on here. I'm surprised we don't have surprised we're not all in agreement here. But the Winners Enclosure in the 2 o'clock at Punchestown have gone with Allaho 5-1. I'm currently looking at. I thought Envoy Allen was value at even money. That's what I was going to say. They obviously think differently. I think this horse is. I'll be backing this horse throughout the entire season. Envoy Allen for me, I think it's just a machine. And you've got Fakir Dudari, you've got Allaho. Asterion Furlong's an interesting one. That could be an absolute surprise. Every time that horse runs, you think this could be a monster, and then it just does something crazy. Usually falls. If that actually stands up as in a clean round of jumping, I might be a little bit scared of that. But you've got to go for me with Envoy Allen. I think even money is value in this race, and it's going to be exciting to watch. That's for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going the same as you. I just think, well, actually, I was reading that, he's back in his winning form. I think it was obviously difficult with what happened last year and moving yards, things like that. It would take a toll, but, he's back raring for more. And I don't really think you can go wrong. And I was actually surprised as well. I thought we'd all go for the same. I just want to give a bit of spiel, okay, on Album Photo, just because, I'm a firm believer of just not writing off horses, and I think there is way more for this horse. I know he's getting older, but I just think he's a brilliant horse, and he does go well fresh, and I really like Album Photo, and I think he will go well. I don't necessarily think he'll win, but I just think he's worth mentioning because he's brilliant.
You can't knock him. I mean, 2-time Gold Cup winner.
No,
but I think this
Gold Cup winner. He's forgotten.
This will be too quick. I'm sure 2 mile 4. I'm just looking at Allaho, the Winners Enclosure selection. You've got this horse who won very impressively in Cheltenham, and then most recently only 5.5 lengths behind Chacun Pour Soi, which is obviously a Champion Chase winner. Round 2 mile 4. It is, I guess, that would be your argument there. It goes with these quick horses and jumps fences very, very well. And Envoy Allen, you would have had last year down as a Gold Cup horse. I think now it's headed towards the Ryanair. So yes, I mean it's an interesting one. They're all brilliant. They're all brilliant jumping horses. Yeah. Apart from Asterion Furlong's a bit mad. Album Photo obviously is used to going over further, and then you've got Envoy Allen, who's, as I said last week, not a novice still, but he had just had a weird end to last year. So we've kind of got him down still as slightly unexposed, and I don't think we've seen the best of him yet.
Who's that, Envoy Allen?
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I said, with what happened in moving yards, I mean, that would be unsettling, and obviously getting used to being in a new place, because horses like routine, and so if they're changing yards and stuff, there's going to be a lot for it to deal with. But you've got a brilliant, phenomenal trainer there, so there's no fault there. But yeah, like I said, when he was saying he's back, as good as he was, back to his winning ways, which I don't think you can say more than that. I think it's the trainer. I mean, I'm a huge Henry de Bromhead fan, as I'm sure lots of people are. I'm sure you are yourself, and I think you can't just write him off because of that season. Like I said, all those other factors come into it. So anyway, he's already got the win under his belt, so I think he'll go great. But it's a very strong field, and it's going to be an exciting race to watch because there is so much going on, and you could sit there for hours picking through all different horses because they've all got so many factors to them of why they might go well. I mean, that's the great thing about racing. You think something's going to win, and something completely different wins. So it's lots to look forward to. Yeah,
I'd say that's the race of the weekend.
Yeah,
for me anyway. So that's a wrap. That is all we have gone through and got time for. We started at Sandown on Friday. Fingers crossed we get a winner through more races at Saturday. The couple that we agreed on were the 2 chases at Sandown, with Third Time Lucky and Chacun Pour Soi being favourites. And then we've obviously got that Mares Chase, which is a brilliant one, Ellie May versus Annie Mack. And then the big one on Sunday to finish. So we will wrap up there, and hopefully when we see you next week, we will be not
Have some
wallowing.
winners.
You will be celebrating success, and we'll be ticking off wins here and there and everywhere. So we'll see how we get on.
Paying for a holiday. Woohoo!
Yeah, that'd be even better. That's a wrap. Thank you very much for listening. Good luck if you are having a bet or watching, and we'll see you next week.